Alright guys, MTech Guy here. Now you know what they say, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Well, in this case it's the squeaky steering wheel. Now this is a problem that can rear its ugly head with the 1 series of this generation and also the 3 series, the E90 generation. And you'll normally experience it when it's cold outside. So today, it's the middle of winter, we're about 3 degrees here on the South Island. Let's check out what noise we're talking about. Okay, so you can see what we're talking about today, and it sounds bloody awful, doesn't it? Now, although it sounds like it's coming from the steering wheel, in most cases it's not the steering wheel making the noise, nor is it the ribbon cable. It's actually a bit further down the column, where it transitions through the bulkhead from the interior of the car to the engine bay. There's a small plastic bush, or BMW call it a bearing. Now over time this can start to squeak, and especially in the cold, like I say, what will happen is that bush will contract and it's going to squeeze the steering column a little bit tighter, and that's normally what causes that squeaking noise. Now fortunately it is a relatively easy fix. All we're going to do is apply a bit of lubrication to the bush. Now gaining access to the bush can be reasonably tricky, but I'm going to run through the steps today to get rid of that bloody squeak. So if we take a look in the driver's footwell here, to gain access to the steering column, we first need to remove this plastic panel here. Now there's 4 screws holding this on, and then a plastic clip over the side there also. And once we've got the fasteners out and we lift this away from the dashboard there's also a light under here with an electrical connector that needs disconnecting before you pull it right out. So let's get this plastic clip out first. And we'll move on to the retaining screws. These take a T20 Torx. And the third one's hiding just up here. So now this should be free. We can slide it out. As it comes out, just undo this connector here. I'll use the pliers to break this one free, I think. There we go. Get that out of the way. Right, so if we take a closer look under here, you can see we've got this rubber boot that covers the hole where the steering column goes through the bulkhead. So obviously this is going to stop any fumes coming through into the cab and also retain the heat to stop that billowing through into the footwell here. Now the bush that we're looking to lubricate lives behind here, but before you dive in and start pulling the whole lot out, you just want to be aware that this can be very difficult to reposition, to put back in position. So what we're going to do today is just peel the bottom portion out and just get a straw in there and lubricate what we need to, and then put it back in position. Some people find it easier to pull apart the top section going from there, but obviously there's less access up there, but it does go together easier. Now do be aware, if you undo the small end here at the top side, that can be incredibly difficult to reseat. So we're just going to tease out the bottom piece here without removing the whole lot, and then we'll get the straw in there and lubricate it. I would have liked to have got the camera in there to show you the bush, but like I say, I want to avoid pulling this whole boot out. Right, so I'm going to get in there with some silicone spray. There's not much room here. You don't want to use WD-40 because that just dries out over time. So we can use some silicone spray and we'll just give it a good dousing. Can't really see much, but like I say, I don't really want to pull this whole boot out if I can help it. So you just want to follow the straw down the steering column and give it a good douse of lube. Right, so that's had plenty of lubrication in there now. So when we come to reposition this boot, you see there's got an inner portion there that just needs to sit correctly where it cuts through the firewall. So make sure the lip's seated, and then this outer one should just fold out nudge that back and make sure it looks all right, which it does. So although we didn't actually get to see the bush or get a straight shot at it with the straw, at least this way we haven't got to spend forever trying to fight with this thing. Some people never get it back in position. It can be incredibly difficult, especially with all the pedals in the way and you're sort of upside down in the footwell here. So we'll just clean this silicone. Oh, we don't want that getting on the pedals if we can help it. Now if you can get in there with some grease, it's probably better than silicone spray, but I've got some white lithium grease, but it doesn't come with a straw. It's not really the sort of spray grease that you can get, so I'll just use the silicone for now, and that should be enough to just quiet it down. If you do have some spray grease, especially with a straw, it might be worth hitting it with a bit of that as well. Right, big test. Let's start her up and see if the noise is gone. I'll just work it backwards and forwards a few times just to work that silicone spray in. Bit of a squeak. Lock to lock, there's still a bit of a squeak there. Well, it's a little bit better, but I think we need to take a look at this top section here, because there is a sleeve there. If you take a look, that one there moves about, so it might be that that's squeaking, so we'll give that a bit of lube too, and that might be enough just to quieten it down completely. Try it again. There we go, so that seems to have now quietened it down completely. Right, so I'm going to call that fixed now. So that silicone spray was enough just to be liquid enough to act as a real penetrant to get in there. It's not going to lubricate it like grease, so might be worth following up with some spray grease afterwards, but to be honest, that seems to have done the trick. And like I say, I would avoid using WD-40 because that does dry out over time, and then you're just going to end up in the same position later on. And just be aware, it might not be the bush or the plastic collar at the top here. It can sometimes be the actual rubber boot itself making the squeak, so sometimes you might just need to lubricate or run some lubricant in the perimeter of either end there just to quieten it down. But in this instance, I managed to quieten down about 70% of it by shooting it down the bottom end there, and then just finish up with that plastic collar at the top there, and that's shut it up completely. Right, so now we'll piece everything back together. Right, we'll slide this plastic piece between the pedals, and as we go, we'll just remember to plug in the light here. Screws back in. Plastic clip back in. Alright guys, so there we have it. That's how you get rid of your noisy, squeaky steering noise on your 1 Series or your 3 Series, and I hope this video helped you guys out. If you found the video interesting or useful, don't forget to give it a like, and make sure you go and check out the rest on my YouTube channel for more BMW DIY videos. I'm Tech Guy. Thanks a lot for watching.